Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Derek Ecklum over here at Foundation Software, and I'd like to welcome everybody to today's webinar, which is titled Foundation's HQ Suite. And we do a handful of these, probably once, at least one on the HQ Suite, probably every 2-3 months or so. And it's good to kind of get together, talk about some of the latest features that are part of the platform, maybe some of the features that we'll be adding here in the future. So today what we'll do is kind of go through an overview. So it is more of a high-level overview, I would say, designed for companies that aren't too familiar with the HQ Suite. And as we're kind of rounding out the presentation, I'll kind of turn it over to you guys, see if there's any questions. And of course, after we hop off the webinar here, the call, if you have follow-up questions or you would like to schedule a time to do like a one-on-one demonstration, walkthrough, Q&A, what have you, I'd be more than happy to do that too. So with that being said, let me go ahead and jump right into it. So for those of you that aren't aware, that are brand new to this whole idea, Foundation's HQ Suite is a web-based project management platform. This is a product that actually started, believe it or not, about 9 years ago. And it's been released now for close to 4 years. We really haven't done too much from a marketing standpoint, except for the last year and a half. So it is still fairly new. It's still kind of getting the word out there, so to say. But yeah, this is a web-based project management platform. And you might be wondering, well, what exactly is that? And I know just from talking with companies that, one company's idea of what project management software can be something completely different from another company. So specifically, our HQ Suite consists of 3 different parts. The main part is called the ProjectHQ. That is document management. So that's where you get into things like RFIs, submittals, change orders, AIAs, those types of documents. The whole idea is you can create the documents right from here, email them out, track correspondence back and forth. There's an attachment feature where you can save documents, attachments. There's also annotations and markups. And there's also instances where you can push that data back into Foundation. So, the big key with this product is, sure, it's a web-based project management platform, but it connects to your Foundation database, which is more than most any other company out there can say when it comes to project management software. There's really nothing else out there that's similar in that regard anyway. But that's kind of the main part, ProjectHQ. A second part is called CrewHQ, which is a scheduling tool. Project scheduling, resource management, employee dispatching. Those are kind of the key terms on that. And then a third part is called ExecutiveHQ, which is job cost reporting. And all 3 kind of combine to allow your project management team, your operations team, the ability to run their projects without having to jump into Foundation. Which, whether it's a technology issue, because you don't want to have your employees logging into computers, or they're in the office, or maybe it's a cost reason, it's usually much more costly to have users log into Foundation than it is to, have an HQ account. Those are some of the big benefits of a product like this. But yeah, being web-based, I mentioned computers. This will work on computers, but it's mainly for tablets. Smartphones are good too. I just usually advise folks, you don't want to be on a smartphone day in and day out. Usually tablets are the go-to with this product here. So that's kind of high-level overview. As far as some of the specifics, this would be the main screen. So kind of an overview screen for the HQ Suite where you can manage recent projects, what documents, whether it's recent, upcoming, overdue. Here's a schedule overview, so that gets into the CrewHQ part of the platform. There's a feature in the platform called action items, which are more of like internal assignments where you can schedule tasks to different team members and set notifications based on priorities and due dates. And then just weather conditions, which are just informational. But yeah, this is all interactive, intuitive, where you can click anywhere and it drills into a project, a document, a task, that type of thing. Now the left-hand side has the toolbar, and I always start from the bottom up. So from setup here, if I hop to integrations, this is just a nice one-page layout that explains what pulls into HQ from Foundation. So jobs along with job budgets, customers and employees and vendors. If you have our equipment and inventory modules, those items will pull into here. Cost codes, cost classes. So basically all the maintenance information is going to pull into HQ from your foundation database. So it definitely cuts down on the setup side of it. The other couple of big reasons why you might be in this setup area, one would be this is where you create your users and permissions. And the other item is template designing, document designing. So I want to put together my own custom subcontract form, or I want to put my logo on a request for change that's going out. That's basically what you're doing here. And for all of these types of documents, if you're familiar at all with the foundation side, it's just much more intuitive, easier to use. It's newer technology. It's all web-based. So with template designing, you can actually turn on and off certain fields. You can check requirements, so it requires that certain fields are filled out before you can save something. You can, of course, create custom fields. We give you all types of options, from drop-downs to email to phone numbers to text. And then for the template itself, I guess similar to Foundation, we would always give you access to the standard design that you can just modify, or if you want to, you can pull in your own template, and it can be a Word document, it can be a PDF, so it's not like it has to be some weird ending, file ending before you can pull it in here to use, which kind of comes into play on the Foundation side. But yeah, much easier to design your custom templates. Reports right above that, these would be more lists and logs. So you can always run for example, a change order list from the ProjectHQ area. This is just I guess a different place you might go to retrieve that information. I always think it's easier to do it right from the main ProjectHQ screen, which again, I'll show you in a moment. And then for contacts, sure, you can always set up contacts here, but most of your contacts should be able to pull in from your foundation database, and they pull from vendors, customers, and employees. Yeah, just a list of everybody that you're dealing with across all of your projects. Now the schedule, that's CrewHQ. I'll get to that, but let me first jump in and kind of walk through some of the main features here of ProjectHQ. So the way this is put together here is you have your list of projects, your list of jobs, again, all pulling in from Foundation. And from security, I guess I touch base on where you set it up, but kind of an overview of how that happens. It's not too different from Foundation, actually. You can first decide, should somebody be able to access all three parts, like ProjectHQ, CrewHQ, ExecutiveHQ, and then from there it becomes at the job level. Of course, this being project management software, you're probably going to need to restrict certain jobs from certain people. But that, so this would be a list of all of your particular projects. And when you go into a job, it's going to pull up first more of an overview page here. But if I expand the left-hand toolbar, each of these areas you can restrict on a user-by-user basis. So if somebody, for example, shouldn't be able to do change orders, but needs to update their punch lists, that's kind of an example of what you can do. But the overview page, just like it sounds, it's a place where you can fill out daily log information, which if you need to print off a daily log, you could. Schedule, so that's the CrewHQ part of the system. Email, so these would be most recent email. The way email works here in HQ is when you send an email, it's going to open up, like in my case, it would be Outlook, or if you use Gmail or whatever the case is, it would connect to your email, and then you're sending it directly through here. Saves a copy, so that way it's transparent. Anybody that has access to this area can see what's been sent, what's been saved out there. And then for the other sections, very similar to what was back on that main screen. So documents, action items, weather conditions based on this job's location. So yeah, more of an overview. And just kind of going down through the different features here. Details, just job details, kind of basic information that would pull in from your foundation database. Resources, I'm going to come back to schedule. That again is the whole CrewHQ part of it, just to kind of keep it easy to understand. So this is all ProjectHQ I'm walking through now, but team would be all the different contacts that you're dealing with. You can always assign out project roles. There's keyword searches on basically every screen, so that makes it easy to find what you're looking for. So just different team members. And then for work management, action items, mentioned that a couple of times, but these again are more internal assignments that you can dole out and keep track of. You can set notifications, reminders. These, along with most all of your documents, you can see there's a duplicate button there. But yeah, if you need to copy these over, there's an easy process to do so. So action items, and then we have AIA worksheets where you can create these, and this would be the first of the types of records that would be able to push back into Foundation. So the thought process, big picture wise here at Foundation, why did we add this here basically is number one, without a doubt, AIAs are the number one type of billing that our customers use. And the majority of those customers, it's their project management team that are handling these. So instead of those project managers putting together an AIA on an Excel sheet, some sort of a homegrown program they have, they can use this feature here, create the schedule values, create the applications, email these out. Even if you want to create your own custom billing design, it comes with the official 702 and 703 forms, just like what's in Foundation. It would just all be done through here. And yeah, these once you're done, once you're ready, you can sync these back to Foundation. And all this information that would push back into Foundation from HQ, it all requires somebody on the accounting side to run a list and okay it. It's not like this is going to automatically populate and hit reports and post and all that. So don't worry about that side of it. There's still a check and balances or a gatekeeper role there for accounting to review this, but it does nonetheless eliminate the need of duplicate entry, kind of making this process more efficient overall. But AIAs are one of the key features. Daily logs, mentioned that. Documents, this is where you get into RFIs and submittals, along with what we call user-defined documents, which, as the name suggests, you can create whatever you want to here. These are just examples I've put together the last 3-4 years talking with companies, maybe a place to save blueprints, a place to create an equipment checklist, meeting minutes, so on and so forth. But all documents, like if I go into an RFI here, they're all going to have the ability to sort, or I guess filter, by status right there. There's that keyword search. Up in the top right is where you can always run a list or a log. Here's where you can always jump to a different type of document too, so makes it easy to navigate. And as far as all the documents are concerned, they're all going to have at least these 4 sections where there's a detail, correspondence, attachments, and mailbox. So details is what would be filled out on the form that would eventually be emailed out. Correspondence would be a way to manually keep track of any internal conversations, discussions that you'd have. Attachments, like it sounds, this is where you can store different pictures, documents, blueprints, drawings, whatever. They can be Word, PDFs, JPEGs, Excel, so you're not limited to a file type, which I guess on the Foundation side, if you have our document imaging module, you kind of are. But yeah, here it's unlimited storage. You can share documents. I mentioned annotations and markups, so that's a huge part of this as well. But yeah, if you wanted to do any markups on any of these pictures, you can go ahead and do so. And it's a nice tool. So if you wanted to go through and edit PDFs, you can add shapes, add images, text. I'll just kind of throw in a circle there. If you want to go through and do different markups, drawings, pencil eraser, you can do stamps, like I want to put an approved up there. You can create your own. You can do custom measurements. You can do password protect documents, capture signatures. It's kind of a crazy doodle squibble there. And what this will do is anytime you're doing a markup on a document and you save this, it's going to basically give it an audit stamp, if you will. It lets you know who made this change, when did they do it, time and date, and that's where you kind of get into layering. So you'll always have the original document intact, but then on top of that will be like version B, version C, etc. But yeah, document storage, annotations, markups, definitely a big part of that, and that happens really on all these types of documents. And then the other feature on any type of document is the email. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but yeah, whenever you send out emails, this is where you can always keep track of what's been sent out in regards to this RFI. So this is where you can always come and do some research regarding that. But those are documents. And then underneath that, mention punch list, but yeah, this is where you can create your checklist and manage who's in charge, what's been accomplished, what's still outstanding out there. So just different punch lists. And then for cost management, this is where you get into really adjusting the budget. The budget itself, that's going to pull in from your foundation database, the original budget. But anytime you're making any changes, that's when you can use HQ. So change order management is probably, if not the #1 feature, it's probably top 2 or 3 from talking with companies. But this is just an easy, efficient way to create and manage change orders. And yes, these do push back into foundation as well. So the idea is you can create a request for change, email this out. This also has the duplicate feature like most of these documents do. You have the same details, correspondence, attachments, and mailbox, but you also have the scope of work, and which is important because this is where you can break out, where do these dollar amounts go? What cost codes, what cost classes? Maybe you're breaking out hours. Maybe you get into quantities. That's all. It's really just an extension of foundation. So whatever you might be doing on change orders in foundation, you can do through here and keep track of, and then you can convert these requests over to a change order that would then push into foundation. And again, accounting always has to review and okay. There's always going to be that gatekeeper check and balances approach on that side. And there's times where, maybe it's not an owner-related change order. You're going to get into what we call an internal or estimate change order, where if you just need to move dollar amounts between cost codes, or maybe a lot of our customers have a variance cost code or a contingency cost code where they have kind of a surplus or a slush fund or something like that, where if you need to move money around, or a profit line. I know that sometimes comes into play. Companies will have that called as well. So yeah, those are all part of this as well. Doesn't always just have to be something that's owner related. So change order management, and then there's committed costs, which purchase orders, subcontracts, all the same detail as the AIAs and change orders above there, and these ones also push into foundation. But yeah, purchase orders are where you can get into pulling from your list of inventory parts, quantities, cost codes, cost classes. Same idea with the subcontracts. It's really just no inventory items, but you're coding everything out. But you can create these from here, use your own custom templates, push these into foundation. If there's a change order to either of these agreements, you can do through here, manage, and then update into foundation as well. So that's the other big section within here. The last item within ProjectHQ is collaboration. So this is just a nice one-stop shop, if you will, to review or find, search any documents that have been saved. So back when we were on that RFI talking about attachments and the annotations and markups, everything you save all throughout the project ends up here. So this is where you can always go find them. Again, there's a keyword search. You can upload documents here as well. You can always create your own folders through here as well. And you have the ability to share, download. Again, you can do the annotations, creating your modifications on this section as well. So all the attachments show up on the file section, and then all of the emails will show up on the mailbox. And again, on both keyword searches, you can still send an email. So it just makes it easy if you're ever looking to do some research into maybe what's been sent out or saved regarding email correspondence with this project. So that's the main part of the platform, ProjectHQ. Now, a secondary part is called CrewHQ. This is the scheduling, resource management, and employee dispatching part of the system. So the way this works is that, again, you've got your list of projects, but with this, you're going to create tasks. And for each task, you're going to assign dates. I'll pull it up here. You're going to assign out dates. You're going to assign out maybe times. Yeah, you can always assign different color codes, like if red equals this and at your company, or blue equals that. But yeah, you're mainly setting up dates, location, which that'll pull off the job record automatically. But if you wanted to override that here, you could, or even drop a pin in a map, because a lot of times when you're building something, the address doesn't exist yet. Resources, this is where you're scheduling out employees, other contacts, so pulling typically from vendors and customers, so maybe subcontractors, Crew, that would allow you to schedule out crew members, basically where you take your list of employees and assign them to crews and then schedule that way. Or equipment items or inventory parts. And if you try to double book something, it looks like that and then lets you know where it's already scheduled, and then you can decide whether to keep it or make some changes. So that's where you're scheduling. And what's going to happen when you save this task is it's going to send out an email or a text notification to all of your employees with all the specifics, the task, the job, the dates, address, other resources. Even over here to the right is a note section. It'll show any miscellaneous notes you might have entered into here. And then all of your employees too, they're going to have their own link that they can bookmark on a smartphone or whatnot that pulls up a calendar view. So at any point they'll have access to their schedule. They don't have to go through and sift through emails or text messages, anything like that. So that's the main idea here with Crew. And then the third part is called ExecutiveHQ. Now this is a reporting tool, and it's the same data that's in Foundation. It's just kind of put into a newer, nicer format, nicer looking format. Same security would apply as far as being able to limit jobs. What's in addition here on the ExecutiveHQ side is you can limit employee detail. So if you don't want to see employee names, hours, and dollars, if you just want to see a labor subtotal on certain reports, that's exactly what you can do. But the way that this is put together is for all of your jobs, it'll give you grand totals up top as far as billings, costs, and profit. Bottom half of the screen is just a nice percent complete report. You can filter and sort by any of these columns as well. And then from here, I can drill into a job, and then it's going to give me just a nice dashboard breaking down all the different parts of the project. Like way up top, it shows basic, job name, customer, project manager. Underneath that, you get that same percent complete line. And then you start getting into some charts and graphs, which I can drill into any of these. But this one is a breakdown by my cost classes. So like labor, material, subs. This one's breaking down my cost codes, estimate versus actual. On the right, there's a couple by change order. This one by status, this one cost versus income. And then there's just a nice variance report here on the bottom. Has revised estimated costs. That would include your change orders. What's the actual cost? Committed, so that's coming from purchase orders and subcontracts. What's been invoiced? What's still outstanding? And yeah, the idea on any of these you can drill into, like if I wanted to drill into what made up this excavation number, that's where it can open up a detail report. Now this is where I was mentioning before, if you didn't want to be able to see certain labor detail, you can always hide employee names here and just see the subtotals. But that would be an example, or maybe you want to see, hey, what made up the billing number? I can drill into billings, and then I can pull up a receivable report where it shows invoices and amount received, retainage. That's the idea behind ExecutiveHQ, though. You don't have to log into Foundation. You don't have to contact the accounting team. And yeah, all in all, for a lot of our customers, this is just number one, it's just a more economical way for their project managers to review their own job data. But then in addition, being able to create all these different job documents and manage them, scheduling side of it, the integration with Foundation, those are all really a lot of the big key features that come into play here with HQ. So yeah, that's our HQ suite. I appreciate you spending some of your afternoon this close to the holidays. I'll turn it over to you guys. I'll kind of hang around, see if there's any type of questions. And if you do have any questions after the call, after the webinar here, that's my contact information. I'll be available either phone, email. Email is usually the best. Email is dke@foundationsoft.com, just because I'm constantly on and off the phone. So if you do call, I'll return your call, but yeah, email is usually ultimately the best way to get in touch. But yeah, if you have any questions, there's a little area on that Go to Webinar side tab where you can type out questions. Yeah, just let me know if you need anything. I'd be happy to help. Good question. The first one here, is there a way for ProjectHQ to have your PMs approve invoices? So not yet. That is a big project, though. Essentially what that is taking our document imaging module that's in Foundation and bringing that all to HQ, which is a web-based system. So there is a roadmap put together. We haven't started on the programming side of it, but it is a big initiative for 2024. So yeah, that's a very common question I get on one-on-one type of calls as well. So yeah, that's something that we're going to be adding at some point. Just don't have a definitive date on it yet, but it is officially on the roadmap. Oh, hang on just a couple more minutes. Make sure everybody's all set with their questions, and everybody will. That even if you have already left or if you registered and never attended, you will receive a copy of the webinar too. So if you want to watch it down the road or share it with anybody, by all means, feel free to do so. And if you're interested in pricing, please feel free to reach out on the information there that's on the screen. I can let you know we do price by users. It's by features and users. So if you don't need all three of the features, ProjectHQ, ExecutiveHQ, CrewHQ, that adjusts the monthly. It is a monthly fee, but yeah, it's a monthly fee based on the number of users and which products you're looking at. But yeah, if you have questions, phone number, email is probably the best, and I can always just shoot you an email based on what you're looking for. And a question about automatically pushing data back and forth. I don't know if we'll get to that point just because there's a lot of gray area with automating things. Like, for example, like change orders is always an easy one to kind of explain. Like, say you've got a pending change order and you know that the owner is really not going to approve it, they're just going to pay you, but you need that on your WIP schedule. So a lot of companies will push that pending change order into Foundation so that it hits the WIP schedule, even though it might not be fully approved, whereas some other companies might wait until they are all fully approved. So that's where it's kind of hard to automate. Never say never. It's kind of it's out there. It's something that we do know about, but it's just hard to automate things like that. All right, everybody. I do appreciate you spending some of this week here with me, just learning about our HQ suite. If you do need anything, I'd be more than happy to help. Just feel free to reach out. And other than that, you guys have a great holiday season, and probably talk with you next year. All right, thanks, everybody. Have a good day.